So, welcome my students once again uh, to the lecture 2 of ultraviolet radiations electrotherapy series. So, in lecture 1, we had discussed about electromagnetic spectrum, how the electromagnetic spectrum is organized, what are the advantages of various different electromagnetic waves, and what are the dangers, and what is the difference between electromagnetic waves and your ocean rays. Yes, apart from this, uh, we had also discussed about high pressure mercury vapor lamps. Yes, these high pressure mercury vapor lamps, we had discussed about production of sun alpine lamps. Now, this second lecture is based on another type of mercury vapor lamp, that is your chromium lamp, also known as water cooled lamp, and fluorescent tube production. Now, before just going on with the high pressure mercury vapor lamp, revise. I would like to revise your previous lecture. Yes. So what we had discussed was electromagnetic spectrum. So as I said, any wave having the property of electrical plus magnetic and traveling traveling through vacuum, that is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Apart from this, we have different kind of electromagnetic spectrum, but a different kind of waves in electromagnetic spectrum, but just giving you a brief revision that longer the wavelength, lesser the frequency, and shorter the wavelength, higher the. Yes. So this is what we had learned in our first lecture. Second thing what we had learned was ultraviolet. So I would use orange color in this. Ultraviolet rays. So we had said that these rays are between the violet end of the visible light and the X-rays. Yes. Apart from this, UV rays are classified into three different categories based on their wavelength. That is your UVA, UVB, and UVC. Yes. So it starts from 100 nanometers to 215 nanometers. 215 to 380 nanometers is UVB, and then here 380 nanometers to 400 nanometers. Yes. So this is what we have discussed about your ultraviolet rays. And third thing what we had discussed was the production. Yes. So we had discussed about air cooled or Novia sun alpine lamps. Yes. So I would like to use pink color in this. So this sun alpine lamps is U-shaped tube made up of watts. Second, argon gas under reduced pressure, low pressure, and mercury is also there, and the tube is covered by both the electrodes, and the phenomena which occurs is argon ionization mercury ionization, and third one is here mercury vaporization. These are the three phenomena because of which UV rays is being produced therapeutically in your sun alpine lamps, or known as um, air cooled lamps. Yes, so this is what we have learned, and another important phenomena which is denoted by dots is your tridenamide formation. Yes. So these are the important points from our previous lecture. This lecture we are going to learn about our chromium lamp, also known as water cooled lamp. Okay. Now, why we are in a need of chromium lamp? Yes, as I said in my previous lecture, and yes, every heating object emits IR infrared. So similarly, uh, in air-cooled lamps, or also known as sun alpine lamps, we had production of UVR plus IRR plus visible light. So now with the so with the production of IRR, yes, with the emission of IRR, what happens? IRR can lead to burn or superficial burn. So thus to reduce the chances of burn caused by IRR, water cooled lamps are invented. Hear about this. So it would be a bit difficult to draw, but I will draw on this so that you know we can have a clear picture idea about this. You know, so it is very simple. Okay, so yes. So I would be drawing the water cooled lamp so that you get an idea about the water cooled lamp. Okay. Please see, I'm drawing the water cooled lamp. Okay. They are interesting water cool lamps, very interesting. Yes, and very easy also. Yes, to draw. So yes, okay. So now these I will label this the inner part which you are seeing it. This is nothing but your burner. Okay, this is your burner. Yes. Second one is the outer jacket, or this is the space between the burner. Sorry, this is the water jacket, and this one is the space between the burner and the water jacket. Okay, so I would like to label it out burner or UV. Yes, it is again a U-shaped tube. Clear? Second one is the space between the burner and water jacket. And third one is your water jacket. Okay, so this is what your chromium lamps looks like. Yes, precisely. Second thing is that I would like to write it also that I would like to denote how the water is being circulated. That will be shown in a blue line. So if this is the flow of the water, and here it will be going in the opposite direction. Yes. So this is your the blue color which arrows which are denoted is nothing but your water. Okay. So this is your construction of chromium lamp. Okay. So why we have been using this chromium lamps? Yes. Uh, the chromium lamps have an advantage over a high pressure mercury vapor lamp that it can be used in contact with the body tissues. Yes, so we were not being able to use air cooled lamps as in contact with the body tissues because air cooled lamps used to emit infrared rays. So now with the advantage that the chromium lamp absorbs the infrared rays, we can use in much more close proximity to the body part. Yes, and in contact with the body part, these chromium lamps. Thus, as the harmful infrareds are absorbed by circulating water, so there is no danger of burns. Okay, now this is the construction. This is the typical construction of your. This is the typical construction. You can see my red color spotlight moving around. The chromium lamp is a water-cooled vapor lamp which eliminates the danger of burn and absorbs infrared. Okay, the high pressure mercury vapor lamp is surrounded by distilled water so that it absorbs the infrared. Chromium lamp can be used directly to treat the sinuses and deep body cavities. So these are very much important uh, uh, questions that why we are using these chromium lamps. Okay, chromium lamps can be used, yes, can be used to treat sinuses and deep body cavities. Yes, clear about this. So this is the reason why we are using chromium lamps, okay, or known as water cooled lamp. Direct method can also be used. Direct contact method can also be used as it minimizes the danger of, yes, because why? It has obviously you absorb the infrared rays. Now the question should come, why are we using a distilled water? So for what purposes we are using distilled waters? As tap water has salts in it, different kind of salts in it. Yes, as tap water has different kind of salts in it. This salts can lead to impurity first and it can react with the burner. So that is the reason we are using distilled water. Is this clear about this? So we would go to our PPT slide to understand that why we are using chromium lamps. Okay. Yes. So this is water cooled lamps. Chromium lamps. Okay. Chromium lamps are also known as water cooled lamps. They give at a wavelength of somewhere around 366 nanometers, both UV and UVB, pressure areas, ulcers and sinuses. It is a water cooled mercury vapor lamp and it eliminates the danger of IRR burn. So this is what we have discussed previously also. Clear about this? Apart from this, these are like, this is like chromium lamps, water cooled lamps. Okay. Now, yes, the very important thing is use of chromium lamps. Why do we use chromium mercury vapor lamps? We will see how to take care of it in next slide. Why do we use distilled water also? Yes, so distilled water is circulated in the jacket, which we have shown. The purpose of this is to absorb the IRR. Why? After the use of water, circulation should be continued for 5 minutes so that till the burner is switched off. And as I said, the tap water has the disadvantage that it contains salts and other impurities which may deposit on the quartz window. So that is why we are using distilled water, which is pure water form. Clear? Yes. Now, once we have a lamp, we need to take care of lamp. Yes. So how to take care of that lamp is very important. Always mercury vapor lamps need to be kept dry. These lamps needs to be kept dried. It should not be turned on and off frequently like we do it for our tube lights. They should not be turned off and off frequently. After 1,000 hours of the use, the burner must be renewed. Why? Because of tridamide formation. Okay. So this is what one more major thing is. The burner of air-cooled lamp should be always cleaned with absolute alcohol so that the remaining impurities can be cleaned very easily. And after 8 hours of the use, distilled water should be renewed. Very, very important MCQ and Viva question. Clear? So please take care, my dear students. All these questions, all these things in your mind. These are very important practical questions. Yes, that when to replace the water, when to replace the lamp, how to take care of the lamp, where to keep the lamp. Okay, so these are very important practical Viva questions. So please take care of these notes and please understand very carefully. Okay, so we would again go to my whiteboard slide wherein I had shown you. I'll revise it again very quickly. So here you can see, yes, here you can see I have made a water jacket. Yes, the water is being flowing through the blue arrow. Yes, this is the space between the burner and jacket. This is the burner. It is simple. Yes, you can see this is a U-shaped tube in chromium lamp, in air-cooled lamps. In air-cooled lamps, we had this kind of U-shaped tube, and this is nothing but this U-shaped tube is turned horizontally. This is your U-shaped tube. Yes, clear about this. Okay, and why we are using? Because we can absorb IRR so that we can eliminate the chances of burns causing by water cooled lamps. Okay, so this is very important question as far as your theory is considered. Clear? Now we will be going on towards the uh, fluorescent we would be before going to fluorescent tubes, we would see why we are using mercury vapor lamps. We are using mercury vapor lamps because they are used generally for UV radiation, and it has a spectrum contains of large proportion of short UVR. So for short UVR, we are using this mercury vapor lamps. Okay, clear, and we can use it for general irradiation purposes, unlike your fluorescent tubes. For fluorescent tube, if we are using general irradiation purposes, we need to have a therapeutic tunnel kind of setup. Okay. Now, fluorescent tubes. Fluorescent tubes are nothing but they are modern treatment methods often required to use long UV without short UV. This is very, very important. Long UV without short UV. That is why we are using fluorescent tube. So these are similar tubes like your tube lights. So I would like to draw it again on our whiteboard. Yes, these tubes are nothing but these kinds of tube which are generally, yes, which are generally 120 centimeters long. How many centimeters? Which are generally 120 centimeters long. Okay, so this is your fluoro tubes for UVR production. Clear? So UVR production is basically through three types: air cooled lamps, water cooled lamps, and fluorescent tubes. We are on to the third part of what UVR production, that is our fluorescent tubes. They are like your tube lights. Okay, they are generally by 120 centimeters long, made up of phosphates, which includes phosphorus, silicates, and borates. Okay, so they are made up of phosphates, which includes, so the see, you can see they are like our uh, tube lights. Yes, they are like our tube lights. These are fluorescent tubes, UVR tubes, and as I said, they are 120 centimeters long. Okay, they are 120 centimeters long. Okay, long UV to short UV pass. Very few IR. Okay, so short UV and long UV mainly used for generalized irradiation purposes also, and individual or group purposes. Clear? They are basically having phosphor coating. किसका coating होता है? Phosphor का coating होता है. Understood? Clear? So they are having a coating of phosphor. This phosphor coating is nothing but phosphates, borates and silicates. क्या क्या है? Phosphates, borates and silicates. So ये तीन चीजों की वजह से इसका कोटिंग का नाम है phosphorus coating. Apart from this, they can be used to have 250 to 280 nanometers, 380 nanometers, 315 to 400 nanometers, and generally used for psoriasis. And when they have a tunnel-like segment, it is known as Therakitin tunnel, which is your UVA therapy. Okay, so again going on to our whiteboard, stating it that these are 120 centimeters long, having a coating of what? Phosphor coating, which includes phosphates, borates and silicates. Clear? Okay, understood. So this is why we are using fluorescent tubes. So mercury vapor lamp has its basic disadvantage that it produces, mercury vapor lamps have a basic disadvantage that it produces these, yes, these mercury vapor lamps have a disadvantage is that they are producing a certain proportion of short ultraviolet rays, require long UVRs, and each tube is, in order to achieve this, fluorescent tubes are used. Every fluorescent tube is generally 120 centimeter long and is made up of glass, which allows long UV rays to pass. The inside of this tube is coated with a special phosphorus. Okay, a low pressure arc is set up inside the tube by process of ionization. Clear? So in this we have a low pressure arc, right, which is created for the process of ionization. Clear? So this is the phosphor is used to absorb short waves. So why we are using phosphor? Phosphor is used to absorb short wave ultraviolet. Clear? So this is the reason why we are using fluorescent tubes. Accurate control of emitted wavelength is also possible depending upon the type of phosphor coating. तो जितना अपना phosphor coating होगा, based on that our this fluorescent tubes emission is based on. Okay, so generally these are the three types of our UVR productions. Apart from this, we have another setup. Okay, this is a setup for treatment that is known as Thera-Kittin tunnel. So in this Thera-Kittin tunnel, yes, I would draw so if you see, this is the person. This Thera-Kittin tunnel is like yes. So this is a semicircular tunnel. Yes, and this is the person. So here different kind of UV rays lamp are being set up. So you can see my blue lines. So these are nothing but your fluorescent tube setups. Yes. So this is the arrangement of Thera-Kittin tunnels. The Thera-Kittin tunnel is a semicircular framework. So I would like to label this also for your better understanding that this Thera-Kittin tunnel is nothing but a semicircular framework. Semicircular framework. Clear? This semicircular framework in which fluorescent tubes are mounted on it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are nothing but your fluorescent tubes. Okay, these are nothing but your fluorescent tubes which are mounted on it in a semicircular manner, and in the same way you can see the irradiation going like this. Okay, the irradiation covering this segment also, the irradiation covering this part also. Okay, so the violet color is the irradiation segment. Thera-Kittin tunnel is a semicircular framework in which fluorescent tubes are mounted in its own reflector in such a way that even irradiation of a patient is achieved. This is generally used for treatments like psoriasis. Okay, so this is the main purpose of our setups for UVR. Okay, so UVR, what we have learned till this, UVR can be produced therapeutically through first cooled lamps, also known as sun alpine lamps. Second is water cooled lamps, also known as our chromium lamps, and third one is fluorescent tubes. Okay, so this is our UVR production. Yes, wherein we should be aware that UVR is produced in this uh, setups. Thank you very much for listening to this video and understanding. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section, or you can mail me personally so that I can revise the topic again. Or else what we can do is you can drop a message in the comment section so that the particular revised topic video can be uploaded. Okay. The next lecture will be regarding UVR dosage calculation. Okay. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. As usual, I'm happy to share my knowledge with young budding physiotherapists so that the world knows the efficacy of physiotherapy. Physiotherapy is the best science which rehabilitates the patients. Okay.